of meat they sold during this period, but that also tells us what exactly the Mother's Day celebrations means. And that is one thing also really I want to also really talk very much on as we also really head into this discussion, where we have seen also really vendors decrying the low sales also really during the Mother's Day celebration. And these are the road vendors in Namgongo Catholic, around the areas of Namgongo Catholic Shrine, who are now counting losses after the expectations to sell and get profits during Mother's Day celebrations were crushed. And this is something we didn't see happening, because really they could have ventured maybe into businesses that are not suitable, and that is one thing I earlier on said. But really, what does that mean? Because definitely these numbers in business means a lot for those who are into maybe foodstuffs. Definitely have to eat, because meat was something that really, I must say, was very, very much sold during this year's celebration. But that, I don't know what that means, but definitely as the viewer, you have the best answer. But what really could you think that went wrong for those who are complaining now, where they are also declaring losses, and they maybe losses that resulted from the losses during that Mother's Day celebrations? Because we were able to see a number of people coming across borders, because we did see pilgrims all the way from the entire country. We also able to see pilgrims coming as far as neighboring parts also really of Democratic Republic of Congo, others coming from South Sudan. Also did have pilgrims coming from Kenya. What does that mean? And we were able to see also the place fully filled to capacity, but really they are now those who are coming out to complain. But I must say, it matters also really, these are complaining. We must have had people who made a lot of monies, and now they're just home resting because they have already made the monies. They are now billionaires or millionaires perhaps. This is actually also depending into the business that they could have carried on. And that is something I want to leave that discussion aside with. But now let's move, that is to Muru, where the budget shortfall also for financial year 2024 as 2025 financial year worries Muru leaders. What does that mean? Because we were able to see most of the local governments also really increasing on their also really on their budgets, because I was able to see Obongi having 16 billion. I was also able to see Marat having about 30 plus. And this means that also really, maybe if there's a drop, that means that also really the aspect of what we call local revenue is playing its part. Because if at all you are not empowering the local people, definitely local revenue is actually something that we are going to be seeing very much dropping. And once there's a drop in local revenue, that also really has its own repercussions on the final budget. And that is something also really we are talking about, because most of these budgets can be passed by also the local governments, but then there's a person who is supposed to also really pay the majority of this. He's supposed to be the local person, and that is also really through the local revenues. For instance, those who have shops, definitely you'll be able to tax. And then what about those who are actually in the markets? Also the market dues also really will be collected for them also to also really ensure that also the local governments actually raise some monies for themselves. And that is also really where at the end of the day we want to see some of this money be channeled through also to what we call the garbage management. Because recently we did see a rural city also really working towards what we call the solid waste management ordinance bill, which among us also talks about the aspect of garbage disposal. But now we are seeing somebody who is actually behind the development of this law not taking its part. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, but as the viewer, we are following up on that ordinance. Maybe if it's passed, it should also first of all deal with maybe the developers of this law, because we have been told sometimes people who develop these laws develop the laws not minding of themselves, because at the end of the day we see them also being caught up by the laws. And that is why if I can be able to mention some of the laws, which I wouldn't so wish to mention here, because really somebody may be able to say I'm pinning somebody, but we have seen amendments being done. But really that is something also I want to say we are following up on, because as Amuru district local government also passed their financial year budget, that's for 2024-2025, the shortfall in the locally also raised revenue in the financial year of 2023-2024 has greatly affected the newly passed budget. And this is something also we are talking about. And in the financial year of 2024-2025, Amuru district is also already budgeted, is also said to a budget that is 27.3 billion compared to 37 billion for the last financial year in there. What does this drop exactly mean? This is something also really we are talking about, because as in the post-COVID era, most of these local governments actually had a drop in their budgets. But really we are seeing also really the world recovering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. What does that mean? Because last year when these budgets were passed, we are talking about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic negatively on the economy, but now we are seeing another aspect happening. I don't know what that means, but really as the viewer, I would also really wish to seek your opinion on this. You can be able to drop with us, and we shall be able to share on what exactly could have gone wrong. That is where we are seeing now most of the local governments also really having a drop, also what we call a cut or a drop in the budgets. That means also really, first of all, the monies for these councillors are going to be also really dropped, and that is one thing also really which we may also really see at the end of the day, because many people were actually complaining that Macha's most of the emphasis wasn't put, maybe given to other aspects, but we did see actually their money being secured. I don't know what that means, but that is something also really I should also really ask your opinion on this early morning. And this is the KokolirikoLive show on West Nile TV. I don't know what you think about the viewer, as we also really see a drop in the budget that's for most local governments, because we are seeing most of the local governments having a drop in their budgets. I don't know what that means. Could it be that they have not empowered the local persons enough? Because if I told you I'm not going to empower me, then there's nothing you're going to be taxing from me. Look at the property tax. Definitely, if I'm not built, also really that is something at the end of the day you wouldn't also really obtain from me. And that is one thing also really I need your opinion on. You need to tell us as the viewer what exactly you think of why the local governments are having a drop or a cut in their budgets, because we have seen some of them having droppings while others also really had increase in their budgets. For now, let's have this short commercial breather as we bounce back shortly. This is the KokolirikoLive show on West Nile TV, channel 477 on Star Times, and online across all our social media platforms. For now, let's have this short commercial break and we bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
The search for Miss Uganda 2024 is on. Get ready to be wowed by the girls' intelligence, charisma, and big dreams. Who will be the next Miss Uganda? Find out starting 10th May every Friday to Sunday at 8 p.m. on Makulachika, exclusively on Star Times. For more details on how to join the competition, visit www.missuganda.co.ug or visit Star Times branches. The show is sponsored by VNA, LMZ, Comform, Nanjing Hotel, Kira Motors, Sheraton, Uganda Airlines, and lead sponsors Grace Textiles and U Home. Miss Uganda 2024, true Ugandan beauty.